Welcome, welcome. My name is Aoife, and I am a mind body coach. I help women to reclaim their lives from chronic pain, chronic illness, anxiety, and depression using this mind body connection, mind body medicine, TMS. There's lots of different words for it, but it's a specific kind of um, learning or unlearning. And it's a specific type of self-healing as well. So today I have a very special guest, my sweet and gorgeous client, Dana. And thank you so much for being here, Dana.
Thank you for having me. It's a
Yeah,
pleasure.
yay. I'm so excited to chat. Dana's been on an epic journey and I've been with her every step of the way, and it's been such an honor and to be with you on this journey. And thank you for trusting me. Um, so yeah, do you want to start off maybe by sharing a little bit? I remember I was thinking just before we jumped on this call, I was like, when did I first meet Dana? When were we first connected? And I remember now you reaching out to me on Instagram and you were telling me about like these kind of stress markers, I think, or inflammation markers. I can't remember, but we started chatting on Instagram. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what was going on for you then? You're allowed to talk about symptoms.
I'm allowed.
You're allowed to talk about your symptoms for the benefit of the conversation.
Give
Um,
me permission.
yeah.
Well, I have been on a health journey for a couple of years. I got COVID, and when I got COVID, my body started reacting in ways that were not, I just knew there was something not right. I was not feeling good. I was not myself. Um, I think the first symptom I experienced was dizziness, and then um, pain, pain coming in places that, like in your head, like actual head pain. It wasn't a headache. And then that sent my doctor on a path of specialist from cardiologist, neurologist, and it just went on. And I just kept telling everybody that there's something not right. And I'll skip over that 1 year because I feel like if I just that 1 year that I was going through, if I can take that out of the puzzle, there was a lot, and it felt like, excuse my language, it was hell. Um, I wasn't a functioning person. I would get up and wake up with a lot of fear because of the way that I felt my body was betraying me. Um, and I had, all the doctors telling me, everything is fine, everything is fine, everything is fine. And then um, I did get referred to a functional medicine doctor because my primary care doctor was like, I think you need to go outside of my realm. But my actual functional medicine doctor is the one who opened my brain to the mind body. Um, yes, my body was affected by getting COVID. And there's a lot of other people that I'm sure have had that same journey. Um, again, it was hell from your heart, your breathing, your rapid breathing. You feel like you're having these panic attacks, anxiety, um, the digestion. I couldn't keep anything in. I lost weight very quickly. And during that time, I was trying to connect all of the mind body things that I was, being told by my functional medicine doctor. And he said, I need you to open up your mind a little bit more. There are places and people that can help you. So I need you to just really open your mind to that. And came across Aoife doing a live with someone else on Instagram that I had been following. And there's, I will say that when I saw Aoife there was an instant connection that I could feel. And now I'll get emotional. Excuse me. Um, but I just felt an instant connection. There, it was her energy, it was her personality, it was her story. Her story. Listening to Aoife, she has been through hell. And I was like, I'm going to reach out to her. And I just messaged her and she messaged me right back. And we started over a little bit of time, on just Instagram back and forth because I would ask a lot of questions, which is me. um, and then she offered me the 12-week course, and it was the start of my eyes opening and my life coming back. So, yeah, um, it's been a journey, and Aoife's been right there with me the whole time, through the whole time.
Thank you, Dana. Thank you for reaching out to me. I've loved every second of connecting with you. And yeah, I just always felt that connection to you. And you're so open and you're so fun and you're so generous. And it's, yeah. And watching you come back to life, like it's just been so exciting for me when you first start saying like that you were starting to feel more yourself in your head, like you were like, you're like, I don't feel like fully myself, but I'm starting to feel more myself. And I so know that feeling when it's like you just lose yourself and in this hell pit of like just, and I really know that fear as well. I remember a point in my journey before I found the mind body, and I was crying before I woke up in the morning. Like I was waking up in a panic crying. Like
Yes.
it was just the fear, not only all of the symptoms and the pain and but then just this wild goose chase and this never ending, like, and you really lose yourself. I felt completely lost. Like the light was gone out of my eyes, the joy was out of my soul. And so for me, I just will always and forever remember when you started telling me, because when we first started doing the calls, the fear in you were still like taking flight, like, and
Mm-hmm.
I so know that. And then you start coming, you actually literally, if you were up here, like you literally just start, and then as I saw that happening for you, then you started to say, I'm starting to feel like myself again.
Yes, I remember that call we were on, and I remember saying, I feel me, I feel myself inside right here. I'm here, but all this other stuff is around me. And the tools that you've given me have helped me so much to just retell tell a new story to my brain. Just, and I have literally every day worked on it. It has helped me get back to laughing and enjoying being with my husband and my daughter and talking to friends on the phone and just some of the simplest things in life that I enjoy by going for a walk and being in nature. While I did that before, it to me was because I felt like I had to. Now I look forward to those things, which is such a great win. Um, and finding out new things about myself and, you know, new things about my relationships, all of my relationships, um, things that I feel that I was put on this earth for. Um, yeah, my heart is full, and it's full of just joy and knowing that the future is just the more I keep working on me and working on regulating my nervous system, the more I do that, the more I retell the story, a better story, a new story. Um, there's the excitement that I get, the joy. I can see, I can see through the clouds now. Whereas before it was dark clouds and I couldn't see past 2 inches in front of my face because it was, I wasn't, all I kept thinking was it would be better off not to be here. And we've chatted about that than to live the way I was living and feeling in my body. Because if you didn't feel like it were ever going to come out of that, oh my God, what else is there? You know, what kind of, but I just knew there was just something telling me this isn't, this isn't right. This isn't what's supposed to happen. There's something better for me. And I think the first thing was reaching out to you after my functional medicine doctor told me, just open up your mind. There are so many things, so many people out there. You do your research. And when I did, because he can give me a list, those lists are great. But when you feel that connection with someone, that's where it makes a big difference. That's what it did for me. I could sign up for any kind of course, but that connection is what drew me to you. And you just being patient with me and giving me so much love and support, especially from someone who has been there, not from a company that it can, do a program, but from somebody who's actually been there, and listening to, the podcast and your live, Instagram live stories. And I start connecting, even though I knew it was, the brain telling me something, trying to suck me back into being that safety, which is totally off the chart. Think that your brain would want to do that, but I get it. But the more I listened to those, the more stories I listened to, it was like the repetitive, the knowledge is power. And I think I told you the biggest aha moment for me was when I was listening to other people, not people that I know, family, friends, and they tell stories to me. And then I'm going, oh my goodness, this is my body. This is 100% mind body. It's the people that I love, the people that my close family and friends, and I hear them tell me stories. Those were the aha moments. And then it was just a reassurance to myself that it's my brain just had some bad information in it. And I was going to give it, I will give it the new information, and I will tell the new story. So yeah, the aha moments are just the ones that just, and they could be just simple, just the simplest things for me. Being outside, nature, looking at other people. I'm just a very observant person anyway, so just noticing people and their interactions and listening to people and hear people tell stories and they don't know they're telling the mind body. That's where I get like, oh my gosh, I need to tell you, this information. And I'll try to give them the information so that they can process it. And they'll go, I don't understand what you mean. Your brain is trying to keep you safe. And I was like, look, if you just give me a minute, I'll explain it.
Oh my God, Dana, you're too funny and too sweet. And you know what? You have worked your ass off. I just want to say you have worked before I even met you. And since I
Yeah.
met you, you've worked your ass off and just shown up, and you're like, I'm doing those tools. Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm doing them. And you really, really are, and you really were. And it is in like I agree with you about the connection, and I appreciate connection too. I like my hand being held at sometimes, and especially you are moving through these very terrifying states and these very terrifying experiences, past experiences, or symptoms and information. So I agree with you that I find the power is in the connection and someone really being with you on that journey. And I'm also a crier, so I really appreciate, but I love the moment. Like, also another great Dana moment for me was like, because you would be coming on the calls and, like crying was like your part of your expression of your fear of your experience. And then you came on the call and you're like, I was just been in the bathroom crying from joy. It was just like
Yeah, a totally different version of crying, but I'm emotional. I'm emotional, all of like I can cry at commercials.
same, crying is my go-to like reaction for everything. So I really appreciate that about you too. And then some of the fun things you've been doing recently, you've been to two festivals in the past couple of weeks. There's been all kinds of and what was the manatee
Yeah, the
sanctuary?
manatees, the manatees. I just love nature and I love animals. I just love animals of all kinds. Um, and the manatees, I want to hug them, but that's illegal to do. It's actually illegal to touch a manatee, but it's like in my head, no one's watching. I'm going to touch a manatee, take it home with me. Um, yeah, the manatees. I love, walking out on the lake and seeing all the birds and the cranes and the ducks. And I've been telling you for a while that from the very beginning, I prayed for God to give me wings, and wings are like a symbol for me. And there have been days where I've just got, where are the wings? I need to, I need you to give me my wings, and I'll be outside and I'll see like butterflies. I'll see dragonflies. I'll see birds. I'll see airplanes in the sky. And I'm going, oh, there's my wings. I see them as a sign that um it I'm getting my wings. I'm gonna soar. And I get excited about that. Like that makes me emotional, to experience life the way that I used to, with joy, being adventurous instead of, I had told you at one time I was just scared to leave the house. That's a Just never thought I would ever get out of it. And being excited about, I just get excited about going for a walk. I get excited just to be outside, going to the festivals with my daughter and my husband, and just immersing myself in it is, it's just life. I feel like I'm reclaiming my life, and it's going to be a better version than it was and better than I ever thought it would be.
So happy for you, and you so deserve it. And I really relate to what you're saying as well. I used to say to people, there's things that I loved. I always loved like babies and young kids and like puppies. But I used to say, like, when I was in that state of constant fear, constant stress, like panic and depression and pain and all these things, I got to a point where it was just so like empty that you could put all these things in my lap, or you could, bring me to these things that would used to ignite joy or should ignite joy. And I felt nothing. It was like I was just dead inside and no light in my eyes. And like, this is not a scientific fact or anything, but I really believe that like these symptoms are like, it's like our soul like crying to come back into
Yeah.
us or something. I'm sorry, might sound really weird to some
No,
people.
that's
I
to
just
me
believe
perfect.
it. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
perfect to me because I get it.
Yeah, and it's like your soul is like left or the building or something. It's just like, I can't take this. Like, this is just my imagination, what I imagine. But and then when you, like you were describing, I feel like I'm coming back. I'm feeling more myself again, and like not taking for granted then anymore. Like, for me, I couldn't eat, and I know you've had a breakthrough with food as well, but I also, I couldn't eat. I was all this special food at special times, and like the joy was just sucked out of life, and I wasn't making any decisions for what I liked. I didn't even know what I liked anymore. I had been on so many like supplement programs and scans and plans, and um so it was like really that, like, you're so like creeping back in, like, oh, can I come in yet? Can I come in? And you're like, oh, actually, I don't like that. And I really like this. And this makes me happy. And this makes me tired. And I'm like, wow, for me, I always say you get more bang for your buck, because you want the symptoms to go away for sure. That's what like
Oh,
you
100%.
come to for. But then like really just getting to know myself and my relationships in a brand new way has been the greatest gift for me, greater than any kind of symptom breakthrough for me.
100%. The
Yeah.
relationship thing, it's like the layers that you always said, just the symptoms are the last to go. You're here. I'm back here. Symptoms can rise until I working on regulating that nervous system and retelling the story that I'm safe, you know. Um, but you mentioned about the light being out in your eyes and the things that come to you that bring in the past had brought you joy. Eva, I think you and I had talked about it during Christmas that I love Christmas. Christmas was my house is full of 12 trees that I decorate.
I'm laughing because I'm like, this, why does this not surprise me?
And I didn't put up but one tree because I couldn't bring myself to do it for 2 years. And this year, I've already started thinking in my head about Christmas trees because I have 12 and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to come up with a new theme. Oh Lord, that tree needs a new theme or something. And I get excited about that. Um, but it didn't excite me before. It didn't. My daughter could come and my husband can be in the room and they're the most important people in my whole life. I felt safe when they were with me, but it wasn't bringing me joy because all I was experiencing were the things that were going on in my body. That expansion that you talk about, that expansion and just ease into it. Take care of yourself. What are your needs? Your love list. Oh my gosh, the love list. I have nobody can see it, but my imaginary crossbody around my back. And I have my love list in there. And telling my husband I would like for him to create a love list. And he was super excited about it. He said, I don't know how to do that. And I was like, well, let's go for a walk and let's chat about it. So, so now on the agenda is for him to come up with a love list. I think after all this time, like you said, creating a love list for him in our marriage is great. Um, he asked me about mine and I shared with him what was on my love list. And he goes, this is something I'm really going to have to put some thought into because I never really thought about what would bring me like like peace in that moment of feeling overwhelmed or frazzled, whatever it may be about job, overwhelmed that you don't feel like you're, you know, like maybe you feel like you're failing at something or whatever it may be. But he really enjoyed talking about that with me. He thought that was just perfect. He was like, that is such a good thing to have. I would never have thought that. So yeah, I'm excited for his love list and I'm going to redo my love list. And I told him, eventually you're going to redo yours. But all of those tools, all of the tools that you've given me, all the suggestions, even things I would have never have thought, and they're like right there. Like, why wouldn't I think about those things? Um, Actually, this morning, I woke up, felt a certain way, and I was like, okay, get up. I went for a walk and I called my sister just on my walk. I was like, I'm going to call somebody. I just need to hear, a loving voice. And she was excited that I called and I FaceTimed her and I was showing her the sun and, the birds at the lake. And that brought me joy. So things that I just some of the simplest things, that like I said, wouldn't have thought that they're right there when I would think of. But I have my bag of love list.
I love it. And it's so interesting when I first started this mind body journey and coaches or teachers or mentors that I had were asking me, like what brings you joy? What in the most simplest ways, like what brings you joy throughout the day? And I think there's a few reasons. Like we get so much conditioning in this like patriarchal society, you know, men too, of like over productivity and like go 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 and get shit done, and we end up like over time then just like so disconnected from what really lights us up. And because I always worked with kids, you know, like you'll know straight away when you meet a kid, like they're just like, this is what I love, like let me show you, this is what makes me happy. And they'll know themselves. So my little nieces were here, like they were dancing, they were drawing, and so we get disconnected through our conditioning, so much through our conditioning. And then when you get these symptoms and you get sick, you end up getting even more disconnected, because well, for me, all my Google searches were all to do with like health and diet and toxins and detoxes. And then all my days were appointments, all my money was appointments. Mm-hmm. So you get further and further away. And then you come to this kind of like healing modality, and people are like, so what do you like who are you? And you're like, don't really know. And that makes so much sense to me when I meet the clients at first. It makes so much, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because it's not a matter of like sitting around telling yourself, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe, my brain is safe. It's really a matter of like reconnecting to yourself and getting to know yourself through these tools. And then you create a safer world and safer relationships, and richer, and then, yeah, more connected, and then you just feel safer. And that's my experience anyway.
Oh yes. It was like it's like you said, children, when you meet a child and they're just so like, oh my gosh, and they're loving life. Like I'm looking at a kid and I'm going, what happened along the way for me to get, and then I go, okay, that did, but I'm going to reclaim that. I need to reclaim joy, being silly, dancing, which I am not a good dancer, but certain music, and I just go, okay, I'll dance. Or, singing out loud, just singing out loud. Um, just some of the simplest things, just some of the simplest things that you just go. And I feel that, when things become overwhelming, like I now, in my relationship, and I see that men, being like you said, the patriarchy, like they got to go, 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 go. And then one day you wake up and you're going, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know who I am. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm failing. I'm not succeeding. I'm not. And I'm like, that's why I used the analogy to my husband about the train. I said, you're on a train. Your train may be different. You're still overwhelmed. Your train, you kind of like need to get off when the train stops at a certain place, like get off for a little bit. And he's like, that it doesn't, how do you do that? And I was like, sometimes you just do it, just do it.
Well, you're like, well, you start with a love list.
Just do it. Like you just have to start somewhere. But yeah, I the love list and the tools, all the tools, and the mantras and the prayers and the uh detangler. The detangler is probably, that and the prayer is my absolute favorite, because I can just keep.
And they're simple, right? You can use them in the car, you can use them in like work or cooking or like walking or whatever. This is what I'm into. Like I'm into these like simple, because I, like you, I'm highly sensitive and easily like stimulated. And
Yes,
I have a lot of energy in one way, but I like to conserve my energy. So yeah, I like to use these simple, gentle, loving tools that are gonna get the job done and really, really help, but not add any more work or stress or anything onto us. So
oh, 100%. I can do some of the tools and no one knows I'm doing them. So I can incorporate it into something. They can think I'm listening to my AirPods to music and I can be doing the Macarena. And
yeah, it's gonna say they just think you're dancing.
Okay. But it has helped me. I have said this to you before and I will say it over and over and over and over. You will always be A gratitude of mine. You're helping me reclaim my life. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm on my way. And I'm going to climb that mountain.
Get on that plane and fly with
And I'm
you.
going to get on that plane, go on a new adventure.
It's been like, I know we're still working together anyway, so I will see you again, but it's just been such an honor. And thank you so much for trusting me and connecting to me and reaching out and showing up. I love seeing you on all of our calls, and you've been so like generous with all the other women in the group and so loving, and I'm just so delighted to see all that excitement and joy back in your life, and also like all the people you're impacting with this new energy and this new information, and with that joy and that glint in your eye that you're bringing with you everywhere to all these flower festivals.
I'm
So
going to be a hippie. I'm going to get me a halo or a little crown of flowers
that'll be
with my
gorgeous.
wings.
Yeah,
I'll be a little fairy.
love it. You are a little pixie.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so thank you so much for sharing. Also, it's super generous of you to come on here and share. I just know like people get so much because you use different words and you describe your different symptoms. So I know that people get so much from will get so much from this, and it was just really generous thing of you to do. So thank you so much.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you for asking me. It's been my pleasure, honestly.
amazing. Okay, thanks everyone.